Welcome to Weasel Digital, and welcome to the So You Wanna Fly series. This series is a quick start guide to the various fighters in Star Wars Squadrons. It provides a quick build and some quick advice on how to best use these fighters. It's not meant for a full detailed breakdown. Check my other guides for that kind of information. It's not even meant for very experienced pilots. Again, this is a guide for new pilots. Before we get into the heart of things, let's check on who our sponsor is. And today's sponsor is Top Secret Deodorant. Top Secret Deodorant is strong enough for a Bothan, but pH balanced for a woman. So remember, next time you're breaking into an Imperial facility to steal their plans to their next super weapon, make sure to remember your top secret. Again, Top Secret Deodorants, strong enough for a Bothan, but pH balanced for a woman. Now on to our guide today, which is the venerable Y-Wing fighter. The BTL-A4 Y-Wing is the second generation of the Y-Wing fighters. The Y-Wings got their start in the Clone Wars as a fighter bomber and are even now being produced in the New Republic era. The BTL-A4 is the Republic era Y-Wing. You may ask why we're using the older version. Well, you're a rookie pilot, so I mean, what do you expect? The new stuff? Come on, who are you? The BTL-A4 was repurposed by the Rebel Alliance. These older bombers utilize ion cannons and missile payloads to immobilize and eliminate larger ships in the Imperial fleet. Looking at the base stats, we see a max hull of 1200, which is not exceedingly high, but also not very low. It's kind of an average hull rating. Max shields of 1200 is tied for the highest default max shields. Max speed and acceleration at 110 and 121 respectively are tied for the second lowest, behind only the B-Wing. And the maneuverability rating of 70 is tied for second worst, also behind the B-Wing. So it's not a very speedy, fast ship. It's not a very maneuverable ship, but it's very sturdy. So it makes a really great bomber. And that's how we're going to set this up. That's this role. Now, because of the stats and because of the equipment that you can put on this ship, it's not good at dogfighting. Do not take it into dogfight matches. I know you may be looking at it going, well, this is a really sturdy ship. It should hold up well in those dogfights. It's going to do miserably in those dogfights. It's sturdy, but it's slow and it's big, which makes it a real good target for enemy ships. They will spend a lot of time and effort to shoot you down because you're a big, easy, slow-moving target. Also, your lack of maneuverability and acceleration means that it's going to be hard for you to find and track enemy targets. Those fast little TIE interceptors, there's no chance you're going to be able to track those things with your weapons. Your low speed means it's going to be hard for you to get back into action after you get shot down, which will happen quite a bit. It's rare that I see a Y-Wing pilot able to even break even in their kill-to-death ratio. So don't fly these in dog wings, please. Now, that's not to say it can't be done, but for you, a rookie player, not a good idea. With the proper build and experience, a Y-Wing can be okay in dogfights, but even then, you're probably better off with something else. So we're going to focus on fleet battles for the Y-Wing because that's where the Y-Wing really shines, and it does a wonderful job in fleet battles. And the first thing we're going to do is talk about equipment here. So we're going to show you how to change these stats that we're looking at here into these stats. So we see it's actually going to be a little more durable, a little faster, but we're going to make a sacrifice to our acceleration and maneuverability because, again, we're not going to be focusing on enemy fighters. So in here, we're going to be sticking with our standard laser cannon. A lot of people, a lot of more experienced pilots will tell you to use a rotary cannon. Don't do that. You're going to start off with a standard laser cannon because it's dependable. Damage is okay. Ammo capacity is good. The rate of fire compared to the recharge rate is good. The rotary cannon has a high wind-up time. has a low ammo capacity, affects your maneuverability, making you even slower to react. You're not going to be able to pick off targets with this thing. And the wind-up time means for the amount of time you're actually using your guns to fire on capital ships, you're going to be just as well off with the standard laser cannon. So stick with that. It's easy, simple to use. Next up, for our left auxiliary, I like to use the Quarry Composite Beam Cannon. This is kind of like a miniature Death Star cannon attached to your ship. It's got a range of 1,000 meters. It does affect your maneuverability, but at 1,000 meters, you're going to be flying in a straight line at your target anyways. It's not a problem. For our right auxiliary weapon, we're going to be going with our proton bombs. 5 proton bombs will give you the ability to do 5,500 damage to capital ships. These fire off at 1 per second. They have a range of 200 meters, but I like to fly really close to the enemy ships, get under their shields, so I'm not wasting these proton bombs on shields. All right, moving on from our auxiliary to our countermeasures. Best countermeasure in the game is the Seeker warheads. Make sure you equip those. They're going to help keep you alive. Your hull, I would suggest the reinforced hull. This is what saps your acceleration and maneuverability, but it increases your health considerably. That makes you a much more durable ship. If you're not a big fan of that, you can take the dampener hull. The dampener hull lowers your health a little bit, but increases the amount of time it takes for the enemy to lock on missiles to you. I prefer to count on my countermeasures, so I like the reinforcing hull for the Y-Wing. For shields, if you're good at using your countermeasures, which are not difficult to do, then I would suggest using the Lornar Ray Shield. This lowers the amount of damage you'll take from primary weapons, while increasing the amount of damage you take from auxiliary weapons. So mines, missiles, those kind of things will do more damage, but capital ships and fighters are going to do less damage with their regular blasters. For our engine, you can stick with the Incom Sublight, the standard engine. I like to switch it up and go with the unstable Sublight engine. It increases your max speed. It helps counteract some of your acceleration loss. It does lower your health and shields. But as an added bonus, when you are blown up, you will do a massive explosion that will damage any fighters or capital ships that are near you. So it's a nice little kind of final kick. Even when you're going down, you're going to do some damage. So that is how we get to these stats. We've increased our max hull by 480 points, much more durable. You're now higher than any standard hull in the game. Max shields have been decreased to 960. Overall, though, you're still more durable than you were before because you gained 480 max hull and only lost 240 shields. We've increased the max speed a little bit to 121. That'll hopefully get us to our targets a little bit faster. Acceleration and maneuverability have both taken a considerable hit, but that's not the role of our fighter anyway, so it's not a huge loss here. So this ship is going to be used to make straight up bombing runs. We're going to go ahead and switch over to some action to kind of guide you through exactly how to use this in combat. At the start of every combat phase, the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you power up your shields. Your shields are always an important part of your health pool, so you have to make sure that you're keeping that shield stocked so that you'll survive the battle. At that point, at the start of the game, we're going to switch our power over to weapons. And we're going to be powering up our weapons because we're not going very far. And we're going to be focusing on damaging one specific ship. However, if you do see any AI fighters or player fighters, take the time to shoot at them. So here's our first target. This is our Corvette class Raider. And what we're going to want to do is take an attack run at it, fire our beam cannons at it, fly over or under it, and launch our bombs at it. Then you're going to want to retreat back to your frigates. Your frigates can repair you and reload your bombs so that you can make further attacks upon this ship. Once your shields are to max, you're healed, and you have your bombs refreshed, you're heading back out to the front line. I usually like to build up my engine power a little bit while I'm getting repaired. And then you're just making another approach on that ship. Knocking out the raider adds 20 points to your morale, which is the same as knocking out a couple fighters. Now at that point, once the raider is down, you have a couple options. One, you can try to defend your Corvette class ship, which will probably be taking some heat. Or you can take out AI fighters or player fighters. If you're not good at taking on player fighters, especially with the reduced maneuverability of the ship, do feel free to take on the AI fighters. They're not as maneuverable, they tend to fly in formations. Taking them out adds points to your morale side, not as many as a player, but enough that it still helps. Now once your side fills up the morale bar to full in your favor, it's then time to assault the cruisers. Your targets now become the two Imperial assault cruisers located at C and D. Once you have recharged your shields, gained your engine power, and refilled your bombs, it's time to make that assault. You're going to move out and hopefully fly at them till you get to 1,000 meters. Then unleash with your blasters and with your cannon. At that point, once you get next to the ship, you'll unleash your 5 bombs. Then you can turn around and head out for repairs and refitting at your ships. If you've had your power all the way to engines the entire time, you should be able to make a considerably long burst towards your own friendly line to get repairs. If you're under fire when making the approach on their frigate class ships, you can use your boost to make sure you get to your target. Starting at 2,000 meters is a good time to use that boost. The boost on the Y-Wing will last about 1,000 meters, so if you use it at 2,000, it'll move you to the 1,000 range where you can start attacking. Anything less than 2,000 will just get you closer to that Imperial ship, allowing you to drop your bombs sooner. All you do at this point is continue to make these attack runs. Attack them, bomb them, go back for repairs. You're a very sturdy ship, and if you keep your power to engines, you're fairly quick in a straight line. So the entire goal here is to make multiple bombing runs, unleashing the cannon, your blasters, and your bombs on each pass. If you're getting comfortable with this attack pattern, and you notice you're not under heavy fire by enemy players, on some maps the two enemy frigates are close enough that you can make your attack pass on one of them, unleashing your cannon, your blasters, and your bombs. Then you can turn and actually attack the second one and even get off your cannon attack before turning and returning back to your safety zone where you can get healed. So that is an option. However, the reason we're doing this multiple attack run out and back is because we don't want to die. When defenders kill an attacking player, they gain 10 points on their morale. So if you can make multiple attack runs without ever dying, you actually help your team out and you help maintain that morale bonus so that you can keep attacking for a long period of time. Now once the enemy cruisers are destroyed, you now enter the third phase of offensive combat in fleet battles, and that's assaulting the Star Destroyer. For this, your main goal is going to be deactivating their shields. Once the shields are down, the ship becomes much easier to destroy. Take a long arc around so you get kind of a side angle. If you can go straight on from the side, that's even better. Target the shield generators, and keep all your energy to engines. Once you get to about 1,000 meters, you're going to want to burst in. Cut that burst early, slow down so that you can make a bombing run against those shield generators. Turn towards the second shield generator, unleash your blasters and your cannon. You'll do a considerable amount of damage to both shield generators this way. You're expecting to go down. You're expecting to die. That's going to happen. But remember, we have those explosive engines, so we're even going to do some damage upon our death. Once you respawn, you're going to repeat the process. Use any debris you can find, whether it's ship debris, asteroids, buildings, space stations, anything you can to kind of cloak your approach so that they can't shoot at you early. If at any time you start taking heavy fire from a player, if you're under 2,000 meters, hit that boost. Get to a point where you can at least attack, and then unleash your cannons, your blasters, and if you're lucky enough to still be alive when you get into bombing range, do the bombing run. So here we're making our second approach on the shield generators. The shields are down right now, so I'm going to take a little bit different approach where I start actually shooting at the first generator in hopes of blowing it up. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to stop right on the shield generator. Angle the nose up and drop the bombs. All 5 of those bombs then hit the shield generator. Then it's just a point of destroying as much hull as possible. When the inevitable happens and your team loses the morale, you will be stuck on defense. Whether you're defending your frigates or your capital ship, the same rules and goals apply. Your main target, like the initial part of the battle, is going to be to take out their Corvette-class raider. However, any AI fighters or player fighters you find along the way are free game. Make sure you shoot at them. But once you get into range of the raider, you should focus all efforts there. Again, taking out that raider is worth taking out 2 players. Raiders also do a considerable amount of damage to the other players on your team and your capital ships. So taking it out sooner keeps your ships alive longer. The raider, you want to use your cannon, do a bombing run, go past it a ways, turn around, and use the cannon and blasters again. Just concentrate on doing all that damage. It's not going to be as easy to repair during this phase, but that's still fine. When defending the capital ship, you're going to be doing the exact same maneuver. Use your bombs, your cannon, your blasters against that Imperial Raider to help your team out as much as possible. Once the Raider is destroyed, again, you go back to defending your ships, either by taking out AI fighters to help your morale, or by taking on player fighters. You can pretty much stand guard by your ship that you're defending, and just look for any offensive ship. So any enemy player ship that's coming in and approaching one of your ships, usually bombers, just start moving in their direction, firing your weapons at them. So with that, I hope you're now a little more comfortable with flying that Y-Wing. You know how to equip it, you know how to use it in battle, and it'll hopefully lead you to being a better Y-Wing pilot. With that, I hope you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. So remember, top secret deodorant. Strong enough for a Bothan, but pH balanced for a woman. You know, Larry, how many Bothans do you think died bringing us that script? I mean, really, what? 3, 4, 5? It's crazy. I don't get it. You know, this might have been before you, I'm not sure, but we used to have some Bothans on staff. Yeah. I asked for a cup of coffee one day. 3 of them died. 3 Bothans died getting me a cup of coffee. It was a mess. OSHA came in. There were lawsuits. It was insane. We ended up not being able to carry insurance anymore. We had to fire all the other Bothans. It was a nightmare. Just a mess. I don't know. Bothans just drop like flies.